Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fantastic episode of The Left Wing. I am TJ Whitehead, powers taken, not given, joined as always by the founding member of the Hakeem Jeffries fan club, John Cooper Paz of Counterpoint Politics. How are you doing today, my friend?
TJ, if Hakeem Jeffries has no fans, I am now dead. That's however that quote goes. Doing good, TJ. Doing good. It feels like this is the first week that's like back to normal life after the wedding. So it's been good to just hit the ground running and get moving.
I'm sure you told me this, but what do you plan to do for a honeymoon?
Gonna go to St. Lucia. Haven't really booked the trip yet because that's not happening this year based on vacation days. But yeah, that is the plan as of now.
That's a good location. Nice exotic location. Not super far away. You're not going to Tahiti or anything like that. You get all the vibes. I always thought the best location for a honeymoon would be somewhere like Hawaii. Like somewhere where it's far enough away to seem weird and strange, but you still have the same language and currency and stuff. You're gonna worry about passports and everything, but yeah, Caribbean's cool too.
That's what I like about St. Lucia. It's just a tourist island. Like there's no native anything. Like it's just an island in the middle of nowhere that resorts have set up on. And that's what I like about it. I feel like there's two types of vacations. There's just veg and chill and or party at a single location vacations. That would be what I want to do for a honeymoon. And then there's I want to learn shit and experience a culture vacations. I want to go to Japan one day. I want to go to Ireland one day. And those are the two types of vacations in my mind. If I'm going to do the former, I'd rather do it on some location that is only existing for my pleasure. And that's what I like about St. Lucia.
You want to learn on your vacation? You want to do nerd shit where you're just chilling out? Yeah.
Read a book.
Yeah, come on, really? No, like if you're fortunate enough to go on vacation and go overseas and everything like that, I don't know, if you go somewhere the first time you go to a new country, you're really just there. You have the culture shock. You see the touristy stuff that you're supposed to see. If you go there a second time, you can actually enjoy it. That's the time you can actually enjoy your vacation because you're not, feeling the pressure of, oh, got to make sure to get this right. We have a tour here. We got to make sure that you have all this stress. But the second time, that's when you can really absorb the feeling. But then again, a lot of people don't get a chance to go overseas once, let alone twice the same location. So take the advice wherever who can.
Other countries are overrated. We don't need them. That's one of those things.
Overrated.
That's one of those things that like people dunk on Americans for, of like, oh, you don't travel to other countries. I'm just like, bro, I could spend the rest of my life traveling within my own country and only see 5% of it. There's so much shit in America. Even just in a 25-mile radius of me, I don't need to go to Hawaii. That's too fucking far away. We can go to the Caribbean for that shit, and it's basically the same. Like
yeah.
I'm good. I'm not a big travel guy. I've always found it to be overrated. People look at me like I'm crazy, but Jesus Christ, I will never do all of the things I can do within a driving distance of myself. So anything getting on a plane, it's just it's inefficient, TJ. It's just a waste of time and resources.
I couldn't disagree more. I couldn't disagree more. Experiencing. Well, no, experiencing a different culture outside the United States, there's really nothing you can compare it to. And it's yeah, sure. If you go on a trip to, I don't know, we're going to Reno, Nevada, or we're going to go see the Black Hills in the Dakotas, or we're going to go, check out the sand dunes in Michigan or something. Yeah, those are cool stories. Like, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't begrudge anyone from that. But saying, oh, that's right, I saw the Great Wall of China, or I got to look at the pyramids in Giza, or I saw, the Petra rock formation in Georgia. I mean, just like the stuff that you couldn't, those memories, those experiences, of course, you could live a fulfilling life without them. Of course, it's not like you'll live a life of misery if you don't leave the borders of these United States. But, overseas culture and travel is an experience that you'll never forget. I highly recommend it.
And that's where everyone loses. I don't give a shit about seeing shit. Like I see something, I'm like, okay, I saw it. I'm good now. And then we spend another, several hours walking around. I can't do sightseeing. For me, vacation is other people. I want to meet new fucking people. I can do that anywhere. I can meet a vastly wide array of people anywhere. That's why I want to go to places like Japan or Ireland, because Ireland's where my family. I want to meet those people over there. I want to see Japan because they seem so different and unique and interesting. I don't give a shit about the pyramids. I don't give a shit about Machu Picchu. I don't give a shit about the Grand Canyon. My dad's always wanted to go to the Grand Canyon. I'm like, I don't want to look at rocks, Dad. I can do that here. So that I know people think I'm crazy for that, but people think I'm crazy for shit all the time, TJ. That's kind of the name of what we do here.
Look, I mean, maybe you'll never get to test me out on this, but it's hard to say you don't care about seeing shit after seeing the Great Wall of China, because it's just mind blowing. It's hard for your brain to comprehend that it's actually real, that you're on a mountain. Like just an expanse of rolling mountains, and there's this massive wall in front of you. It's huge. It's as tall as a house easily, and wide enough to fit a couple cars driving over it. And you look across these mountains, and as far as you can see, more wall. You look the other way across these mountains, far as you can see, more wall. It's the most impressive thing. I can't believe human beings were actually capable of building it. But if you don't like seeing shit, you don't like seeing shit. But if there's one thing I would recommend anyone go see, if you get the opportunity, to check out the Great Wall of China. It's just as impressive, everybody says.
Well, anyway, thank you guys for being here. This episode is sponsored by the Chinese Communist Party. Make sure to come travel to mainland China and see our amazing Great Wall. Anyway, we do have a good show here, guys. We got a lot to talk about. It's been like a weird, slow-ish news cycle, but I was kind of like looking through top stands. Like, it wasn't hard to find things. We'll be making bets. I'm very excited to make these bets, TJ. I put money in this fucking account. We are going to be literally making bets on today's show, so very excited about that. But we got to start here because I sent TJ over the topics. And then he was like, oh, wait, we have to talk about this one thing. I was like, I cannot believe I didn't think of this as a topic when he sent it over. Colby's kind of pointing at it here. Colby says, who said Republicans aren't inclusive when they have big, beautiful butch lesbian in their ranks? Happy Thursday, everyone. TJ, do you know what he could be talking about?
Yeah, so the group chat that was released from the college Republicans, was it of New York, I think is where they were from? Not college Republicans, young Republicans, which I think they should call it relatively young Republicans, because a lot of these folks, I don't know why they got away with the young Republican title or whatever, but it's actually giving them a lot of cover. We'll get to that in a little bit. But these group chat, I think from Telegram, were exposed of them saying shockingly like racist and bigoted and anti-Semitic stuff and supports for Nazis and everything, which I don't know. It's the reaction from this is something that I could have predicted. I think you could have too, John, that what you're going to see is a bunch of people saying, wow, I can't believe this. Can you believe that the young Republicans of New York are saying all this kind of stuff? And that's like your normal person reaction. But everyone, even slightly right of center, is saying one of two things. Either A, this is not a big deal. This is just a bunch of kids, texting and being edgy or whatever. Or two, yeah, what's wrong with what they said? Yeah, what's the big deal? And I'm positive, actually, we've been saying for a long time, we're going to start seeing a lot more of the latter response than the former response, like real soon. I think real soon they're dropping the whole facade.
It is. So it's a very strange experience, especially on like Twitter, where if you go through Twitter, you're right, you'll see two diametrically opposed things. Some people like JD Vance saying, guys, why do we care about this? This is just what did George Soros say there, DJ?
This is great. Not sure if I approve. Yeah. Kind of big atid. That's great. That's fantastic. I love that.
We're definitely going to get into the appearance of these guys. But I want to go to what they said and what people were saying about them first. So first, what you said there, the two different types of experiences that we're getting. JD Vance is saying, oh, what matters in a college group chat? People making jokes, which we'll get to. We love talking about jokes on the show. And then right after you scroll past that, you see some explicitly Nazi account going, yeah, good. I'm glad we're saying this out loud now. Like, it's insane how people continue to act shocked or appalled or like this isn't representative of Republicans. It is a representative of Republicans. It is. And if you're a Republican out there right now who's saying, well, I condemn Hitler, I don't care about this stuff, here's what I have to say to you. I'm not a Republican. I literally never have been. Not my entire life have I ever been a Republican. Not my entire life have I ever been a conservative. However, my entire life I have been a straight white man who hangs out in a lot of spaces with other straight white men. And let me tell you, I've heard jokes like this all the fucking time. Like you can't avoid them. If you are in social circles with Republicans, especially of the young straight white male variety, you are going to hear jokes about liking Hitler, liking the Nazis, totally racist bullshit. You're going to hear it all. And the fact, TJ, that people pretend like they don't, that might be the most bizarre part of all of this. Again, I'm not surprised that this is what these people are talking about in group chats, because I've been in those goddamn group chats saying the same fucking shit. This is a completely, like, it shouldn't be a surprise to people. Anyone acting surprised by this, I just feel like is explicitly lying.
Yeah, I remember, I think it's on our account. It's either on our account or mine on YouTube. I shared a video. Have you ever seen the movie American History X, John?
I have not. I really should, TJ. I really should, but I have not.
That was weird. I expected a yes.
I understand. Why you expected yes? I almost said yes. Like, of course I watched American History X. Why wouldn't I? But I haven't. No, that's always been.
Yeah.
It just seems like a not fun movie. Like, it does not seem like a movie that I'm going to sit down and relax while I'm watching. And so those types of movies, it's a much longer watch list.
I gotcha. No, I understand. It was just, I was just funny. I thought it was just funny how presumptuous I was. Like, it was like a formality, like a setup. Like, Stanley Kubrick, John, you've heard of him, right? So like, kind of like something like that. No, but so in American History X, for those of you who haven't seen the movie, it's a film about a young man. He's a high school student, and he has an older brother who was sent away to jail for, beating people up and curb stomping black people. He was a member of the neo-Nazi group, and he had the swastika tattoo and everything on. He gets out of prison, and his younger brother meets up with him, thinking he's going to help guide him in the ways of bigotry and all that. But he's had a conversion. He's had a come to Jesus moment while he's in jail, and he's trying to teach his brother, no, actually, these Aryan white supremacist folks are bad people, and they are taking advantage of you, and this is a bad course of society to go on. But the movie is interconnected, or is cut with a bunch of flashbacks that took place when his older brother was an active white supremacist. And I played clips from this guy talking. And this guy goes on long diatribes about how the nation is being overrun by immigrants from Central and South America. We need to put the military on the border to stop this from happening. Black people have had it way too easy for way too long. They've had a century and a half to get their shit together, and they keep taking away free money. I just played clip after clip after this. I was like, remember when we all agreed that this was a bad guy? Because this guy sounds like every Republican I ever hear. And this is another example of this. This keeps happening. And what I thought of was, John, do you remember when Tucker Carlson's head writer was exposed for having a Nazi online account? That was like 2 or 3 years ago. Remember that? Yep. What was Tucker Carlson's response? He says, I cannot believe all these people are just gleefully kicking this young man while he's down. You guys should really look at yourselves in the mirror. No apologies, no like moment of reckoning that the #1 watched cable news program in the country was written by a Nazi. No, just move right along. So yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more people openly admitting they're Nazis, which I guess I prefer. I prefer that they go ahead and say it instead of playing patty cake with us.
Yeah, I mean the movie that clips been going around of Blues Brothers. Have you seen Blues Brothers, TJ?
Yeah, yes.
When they're like, I hate Illinois Nazis, and they just drive their car through a Nazi rally, and all the Nazis and it's just like everyone was like, yeah, the Blues Brothers were the good guy in that situation. The Nazis were the bad guys. This wasn't that long ago. This was the 80s, 90s. Blues Brothers came out.
80s, yeah.
And everyone agreed on that. And now it's suddenly controversial. And I just, Well, that's not controversial, but that sort of thing is controversial. Hating fascists, saying, hey, maybe fascists require violent resistance. That's controversial because people are like, oh, well, you just mean Republicans when you say fascists. And it's like, what they're saying. Like that we've seen the group chats. Again, people are trying to like play this off like it's some like college club. It is a Republican organizing apparatus for young people, which was manned in this group chat entirely by grown-ass adults, by people between the ages of 24 and 35 was the main like chunk of these people. You can't tell me. People are like, oh, they said bad words. It goes beyond the, because how do I put this? I have a degree of sympathy for people who say, and I've said this on the show before, people who say, oh, PC culture has gone too far, cancel culture has gone too far, all those sort of things. I have a degree of sympathy for that. People shouldn't be just lambasted because they said an inappropriate word, but that's not what these things are. These jokes, these messages that they're saying, the point of the joke is that, hey, we're Nazis. Like, that's the entire, you boil down the joke and it's, oh yeah, we kind of do the same shit the Nazis do, don't we? That is the point of the joke. That's why it's funny. The fact that they find it funny is the problem. Not that they said problematic words, not that they said no words, not that they joked about dark matters. The problem is that it reveals their fucking ideology when they say things like, I love Hitler. Because I'll tell you, TJ, have you ever, correct me if I'm wrong, been joking around, making dark, edgy jokes with some of your liberal, left-wing Democrat friends, however you want to phrase it, and has the phrase "I love Hitler" ever been fucking spoken? Ever?
No, I can't. I can't recall that unless making fun of other people who say it. But yeah, you
exactly.
just
maybe making like in the context where I just quoted someone saying it, But like that's not a joke in our circles because we don't find that funny. It's the fact they find it funny, the fact that they think that's something that is okay to joke about, which is the problem. We are very pro dark, edgy humor here. We do it quite often. It's what the joke says about you that is problematic about this, not the fact that you made a dark, edgy humor joke.
I have this thing I started saying about 2 days ago, and I started saying that anyone who announces that they have a dry sense of humor is actually just not funny. Like some people do have dry senses of humor, but that's up to other people to say, oh, yeah, other people should describe, oh, that person has a dry sense of humor. If you say you have a dry sense of humor, that just means you're not funny. People aren't laughing at you. And people who enjoy dark, edgy humor just really like being bigoted generally. Because if you really are someone who enjoys comedy, and maybe you're someone who enjoys dark, edgy humor, it's kind of like I get annoyed when people announce that they're funny. When someone says that, oh, I'm a funny guy. It's like, yeah, let me be the judge of that. Okay.
Editor's note: TJ has said those words on this show on multiple occasions.
All right, here we go. All right, I'm glad you brought this up, John. I knew you were going to, because I don't mind people, but it's not hubris if it's correct, right? So it was true. Listen. If someone came up to you,
you're right.
Yeah. If someone comes up to you, like, let's say you're an excellent car mechanic, right? And someone says, we're talking about this. Oh, well, I actually know a lot about cars. That's not arrogance. That's not, I was like, oh, I'm sure I know just as much as this guy. No, I know I'm funny. Okay. I know I'm funny. Right. And I know, years of experience have taught me this. Everyone will tell you the same thing. If you aren't being told you're funny like once a week, don't say it. Just don't set yourself up like that. Just like same thing with being smart. Let other people say you're smart. You'll figure it out. This happens enough over time. But this is what Republicans is that they just enjoy being racist. Like there's no humor in this at all. They like to hide, but oh well, I said that incredibly bigoted thing because I was trying to make a joke. It's actually your fault that you don't have a good sense of humor. And it's like, no, that's a good sense of humor. Isn't people laughing at stuff you find funny? That doesn't measure their sense of humor. Their sense of humor is can they make you laugh? That the people take that backwards, but yeah, I can't stand that. And Republicans denying that this shit exists drives me insane. I can't stand it. Listen. There are plenty of backward and unjustified beliefs that I have, or gut reactions or instincts, and I recognize that. Okay, that thought was kind of sexist, TJ. I shouldn't think that. Republicans and conservatives, what they do is they say, "Oh, I don't have any thoughts like that, none." None whatsoever. That reality doesn't exist. I'm completely colorblind. I don't notice anyone's race or sex, which we know you do. But that's the frustrating part, is that I wish they were just honest. Like, yeah, I have these beliefs and I like them. I'm not fighting to make the world a better place. I'm not contemplating these beliefs and weighing them against reality. I have them. They make me feel good, and I should be able to say it without any social repercussions whatsoever.
Yeah, no, we've said this on the show a million times. Like we say about the like true Christian nationalist zealots, like I respect them a hell of a lot more. They're worse people. Don't get me wrong. Far worse people. I do not want them in charge, but I have respect for that because at least they're logically consistent. These young Republicans are being more logically consistent. They're just saying the shit out loud, and the establishment Republicans don't want that because the nation's not quite ready for that yet. But they are recruiting the people who they know say these things. Again, actual sitting Republican leaders are in these group chats and are seeing these things, and they know that the people they are sending out to recruit other young people to the Republican ideology are making fucking jokes about being Nazis, and they don't see a problem with that. And that's exactly what you were saying, TJ, is that it's not so much that they have messed up thoughts or feelings or make bad jokes or whatever. Everyone has done that. Everyone has. I have, TJ has, whoever watching this right now, you have as well. But the problem is that they deny that the things are bad at all. If I was involved in any way in a group chat like this and it came out and it got public, I would be incredibly embarrassed. I would show humility. I would say, guys, yeah, that's fucked up. I knew these people. I really should have called them out on it, and I am embarrassed that I did not myself until this became public. I ask for your forgiveness, but I'm calling them out now. It shouldn't be like that, right? That is the normal human reaction to something like this. But that's not what the Republicans do. They don't play defense. They only play offense. And so they can't admit fault. They can't say, oh, yeah, or they release some corporate blanket PR statement about it. That's one of the two options. But J.D. Vance can't condemn these people because that would be condemning himself. That would be admitting fault. That would be admitting weakness. And they just can't have that. I will say to you, did you have another point there? Because
no, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Oh, well, I was going to say I disagree with one of the points that you made, but I want to hear what you have to say right now first.
Well, it's kind of tangential, but I was going to talk about the fact that I have justified hubris or arrogance or whatever. I think that I accept it if you can back it up. And if we're talking about like dark, edgy heroes, like, oh, you guys don't have any sense of humor. Like here we go. I'm going to make a joke about Nazis, okay? And a pro-Nazi joke, okay? And so say what you want about Nazis, but it's hard to compare your average Republican today with Nazis because the Nazis were in shape. That if you look at the videos and the tapes of the Nazis, really, like, they took care of their fitness they had together. And I look at Elon Musk, and we talked about before that the Nazis did a damn good job building rockets. And so Nazis today can't seem to live up to their past. But like when the Germans said that, hey, we believe we are the superior race. We believe that we are supermen. We're willing to put our money where our mouth is. We're going to fucking prove it. And they almost won. Okay. They almost won. So listen, it's hard. I was like, okay, look, you guys had this theory. You thought you were the master race. And I kind of get why you thought that. I understand. Like, I'm not saying you were right. I'm not saying you were justified. I'm not saying it's moral. I'm saying I can see your thought process, right? I can see how you reach this flawed conclusion. What I don't understand is how modern Republicans or modern conservatives can reach this conclusion when they look like this, right? Like, I don't got that. I don't understand. I don't see how this guy looks in the mirror and say, you know what, man? I am the pinnacle of masculinity. Like it or not, Libs, this is what a real man looks like. I want 1,000 years from now, every human being to look like me. And like, John, you may not remember this. This is a little before your time, perhaps, but do you remember an SNL character called Pat?
No, I don't think so.
There was a whole sketch. This is in the pre-woke days, and there was an SNL character named Pat who was yes, the whole bit. like there were several clips or several episodes, or not episodes, but sketches that they did with this character. Pat was so racially ambiguous, no one could tell if Pat was a man or a woman. And like that was just the whole bit. The whole thing was people were trying to address them to sir or ma'am, and they couldn't figure what. That was kind of how it was. But that is who this person reminds me of. Just like an androgynous bulb. Like if you told me this was like a butch lesbian, oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, absolutely. This is a butch lesbian or someone. Yeah, that's what I would have guessed. So hilarious that Republicans look like this, because Jesus, if you're gonna rock that master race thing, you really got to earn it, you know.
TJ, I'm so glad that is where you went. It's just another example of how we often independently arrive at the same conclusions. Because what I was going to say was the one thing I disagreed with you is that there's nothing funny about this group chat. And boy, that is an incorrect statement, because the visual appearance of this group chat is absolutely hilarious. It's not just that. If it was just that one guy, I'd be like, okay, we're picking on him a bit.
Yeah,
but it is all of them. These are the people that are in this group chat that are saying these things, that are saying, oh, we're the Nazis, we're the master race, we're going to gas some people. Like, this is what they look like. And again, I would not shame someone for their looks unless they thought they should be ashamed of their looks. And if these are the people that are saying they're the Nazis, they're the master race people, just like, first of all, why don't you know how to buy a suit that fits? Like, why do they all look like inflatables? I don't understand. I've seen big people wear suits that fit. Not a single one of them knows a tailor. That's just like, that is not the Nazis. Like, like the Nazis had, if they had one thing right, it's that they dressed to the fucking nines.
God damn, did they? Yes.
These guys, they do not have that. That's what I want to say. Like that, it's incredible. It's not incredible because it makes sense. Like from someone looking in, is again someone who has known people like this, someone who has talked to people like this. It's not. None of this is surprising. None of this is surprising. These are people. You know, jock creep. Have we ever talked about jock creep theory of fascism?
I don't think so.
Have you heard of jock creep theory of fascism?
I don't think so. No, I'm not familiar.
So the jock creep theory of fascism is that fascism is appealing to two groups of people, jocks and creeps. The jocks, you're Donald Trump, he's a jock. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be athletic, but charismatic, cool, tough, strong. That's your Donald Trumps. Your creeps are your fucking Stephen Millers. Just creep ass fucking weirdos. And they attract each other under this ideology of this hierarchy that puts them at the top. The jocks need the creeps to handle all the fucking nerd shit, and the creeps need the jocks in order to enforce their fucking nerdy fascist shit. And this happens throughout history. Look at Hitler, he's the charismatic orator, and then behind him you have Joseph Goebbels, who's the brains behind the operation. You see this in every single fascist organization, and these guys, they're the creeps. They're the creeps who are sucking the dick of the jocks in order to give themselves a seat on the table of hierarchy. Happens all the fucking time. And that's exactly what these guys are. These people joking about putting people in fucking gas chambers as if they have any fucking right to claim themselves to be the master race. It's just, that is the funny part of this entire fucking conversation.
It really is. I got to get to these comments too. These are pretty good. I wanted to mention one more thing about the vice chair there, that besides reminding me of Pat, the SNL character, I don't know if you've heard of this, John, but have you ever heard of the well, you're Catholic, I'm sure you have, the castrati, where they would castrate boys in Catholic choirs hundreds of years ago. And yeah. So for those who wonder what I'm talking about, a castrato would be a singer, and Catholic church, and they had the boys choirs, and boys with really good voices from not so wealthy families, whatever. They said, well, your boy's got a hell of a set of pipes on him. How about we castrate him and allow him to grow up? He'll never experience puberty. He'll keep his high voice, but basically make a eunuch out of him. So we put him in church. A lot of families did that. And this is actually a picture of the last castrato he probably died in I don't know when he died, the 20s or 30s or something, maybe. But I think this picture is somewhere from like the late 1800s or maybe the very early 1900s. But that guy's body reminds me of this person's body. Like this is a boy, well, not a boy anymore, it's a grown man. But if you remove the testicles and they, grow into a male body, but they never hit puberty, they get really big, rounded bodies, extra large lungs for the singing and everything. But that's another person that reminded me of. I don't know this
look
person's history.
Like him. Like it is
right?
very
the proportions are exactly like that.
Here's the difference, DJ. Here's the difference. That dude has a suit that fits him.
Yes,
that suit is properly tailored.
The conservatives, like when you mentioned that was a good point. How no one had a well-fitting suit, and they were huge. So the bigger you're a lot chunkier. The cut of your suit matters a whole lot more. Which means they're brokies, John. Which means that not only are they fascists and sucking the dick of Republicans and capitalism, they're not even getting any money out of it. That really is a real loser shit right there. I feel bad for them.
It's so bad, TJ. It's so bad. I do before we end this topic, we would be remiss not to take a look at the things that were actually said in this group chat. Sometimes we talk about things, TJ, as if
we do that. That's true. As everyone knows,
we are, and they just automatically know what these things were. This is a story that came out 2 days ago, TJ. I'm already I know exactly what was in this group chat. I've seen it so many times. But this is the shit that was said in this group chat. I'm trying. Oh, that's because you're here.
I have a clip. I think.
There we go. That was the shit that it is. Again, honestly, here's my thing, TJ. I will actually have a hot take here. Could have been worse.
Could have been way worse. I thought the same thing. I was expecting worse, actually.
I honestly, when I saw what was actually said, I mean, we have some hits in here. I love Hitler. Can't get more explicit than that. I don't know if it's in this screenshot here, but what are they drinking? Watermelon flavored Kool-Aid. That is a pretty fucking racist one. Bad joke as well. Just again with the edgy humor.
Lazy. I'm
a fan of racist jokes. Don't get me wrong. That's a lazy racist joke. Again, you got to make it funny. You can't be regurgitating shit from the 90s. That's it's just not funny. But stay in the closet, F word. The water. They love the watermelon people. I was actually I'm not sure if that's even racist. When I hear the watermelon people, I actually don't think of black people anymore. I think of pro-Palestinian people because they put the watermelon.
Oh yeah.
That's what again, without context, I'm I don't know if that one's even racist. I feel
maybe
perfectly fair to refer to Palestinian activists as the watermelon people.
Right.
They refer to themselves that way essentially. But yeah, the Jew ones, you're giving nationals too much credit and expecting the Jew to be honest. Again, these are just normal people don't make these jokes. They don't. They're not good jokes. And the only joke is Jews are dishonest. That is that joke. So tell me why that's appropriate in any context.
I get that racism is a really big part of being a conservative. It's kind of necessary or whatever. I still, to this day, am kind of mystified at the anti-Semitic stuff. I really don't. I didn't understand it as a kid. I remember hearing. Well, I grew up, religious fundamentalists, Christian fundamentalists, and they were obsessed with talking about the persecution of Jewish people throughout history, not by Christians. That didn't come up much, but they talked about how Jews were being criticized discriminated against, and the pogroms they suffered and the expulsions. The Catholics, we talked a lot about how bad the Catholics were to Jewish people, and we love doing that. But then look at the history. It's man, what is going? Why are these people so upset at Jewish people? And to this day, I still don't get it. I can put myself in the mind of ancient pagans or ancient Christians or whatever, when religion really fucking mattered, people were willing to die for their beliefs and stuff. And then you have a different sect than you, and they're from the Middle East and they're odd. Okay, I can see why there'd be somebody, but now, really, you're thinking, oh man, we really got to watch out for Jewish people. What is wrong with you? I don't know, bigotry and discrimination has never made sense to me. I'm just particularly mystified by that one because I don't get what your beef is. I don't understand what they did to you. I don't get it.
TJ, I could not agree more. I am the same exact way. My entire life, I've had this thought of like, why Jews? And as you learn more about the history, I again get not condoning in any way, shape, or form, but I intellectually understand why Jews were discriminated against for large chunks of mostly ancient human history. Makes sense. Any sort of religious minority is going to be discriminated against, and they were always a minority because they did not propagate their religion like other religions did, and therefore they were often the easy minority to pick on. So that sort of makes sense to me, looking at just the history of discrimination among world religions. Anything in modern times, I really don't. It just blows my mind how it's still a thing. I get being bigoted against immigrants. Again, not condoning it, but I understand why you might be scared of these people from foreign lands that you've never met before with weird cultural traditions that are scary to you. It makes sense. Jewish people are just like in our everyday lives now. Like everyone sees Jewish people all the fucking time. Again, maybe I grew up in a more Jewish area of America than a lot of Americans. Like I did. Like I get that, but like you see it on TV, you see it in movies, like the whole classic "they control Hollywood" thing. Like there's a lot of them in Hollywood. They don't control it. They're not manipulating shit, but there are. And so you're exposed to them. I don't understand why so many people keep the anti-Semitism thing alive. Honestly, it seems like they're doing it for the sake of tradition at this point.
It's like for the life of me. So like if I run across someone who says like some like weird anti-Semitic shit, odds are they're going to be somewhere north of 65, right? Like I'm going to hear it's like that. But so which makes it so strange that you see like 21-year-old anti-Semites is like, like rubbing their hands together like, man, I'm really worried about the JQ issue. It's like, what? What are you talking? You just got out of high school. Well, what the fuck do you? I don't know. It's super bizarre, and it always has been to me. I want to speaking of Nazis again, this is our most pro-Nazi episode. And Colby says,
welcome to the most pro-Nazi episode of The Left Wing.
Oh man, the left wing of the Luftwaffe. All right, Hugo Boss high key cooked in the 1940s. He was not going to let nothing stop the drip. Listen, like true. If you look at the credit where credit due, right? What do you want me to say? That they weren't looking fly as fuck in those high collared dress uniforms? The Marine enlisted uniform is the best uniform in the United States military. As an Army guy, I hate saying that, but it's the most Nazi looking uniform.
Yes, yeah, no, you're 100% correct about that.
It looks good. It looks really nice. And listen, the more I see why people are obsessed with World War II. It was the most important event of the 20th century. I'm not taking that away from anyone. I just got annoyed as a kid at how many people would claim to be history buffs when all it meant was they liked reading about World War II. Either that or the Civil War. Am I frozen on your screen? I was frozen on my side.
Breathing in and out, but your audio's coming in fine. So,
strange, very, very weird.
Seems like maybe a camera issue with the computer.
But anyway, yeah, it's just kind of weird. But goddamn, you look at what the Nazis had and everything. Like Mercedes was making tanks for these guys. They had the Adidas and Puma. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Adidas and Puma were started by two brothers, both of them German, both of them Nazis, and they were making boots for the Nazis and everything. Like every German company you can think of that's big right now almost certainly was cooking for the Nazis, and they make high quality good shit. Like it's incredible. If I showed up from a different universe and you showed me all the odds, the United States and everything with the Allies, and then Germany with oh yeah, I'm definitely putting money on Germany. Like these guys, they got their shit together. And Heather commented here, wow, blatant body shaming. So much for the tolerant left. Yeah, and of course she's being facetious or whatever, but of course John mentioned this before, like making fun of them. Yeah, do it. There's no, you don't get any extra points. Like this guy's fat as fuck. I'm gonna say it. All right, I'm gonna say it's what he would say. Right, it's exactly what he would say if he. Yeah, you just give them a dose of their own medicine, and it's the only language they understand. You're not going to get anywhere by pretending that you win some holier than thou points. I wanted to show this clip.
Wait, TJ, I want to say something on that before you show this.
Sure.
Because I could go on a diatribe. I hate the people who are like, oh, if you're going to be fat phobic or whatever, just because they're bad people, like you're not an ally of mine. Like, go fuck yourself. Like you clearly don't understand how any of this shit works. If you see me insulting a Nazi for looking like a piece of shit, and you're like, oh, well, you're not being an ally of my friends who look like a piece of shit. Like, okay, here's the thing. If your friends want to look like the way they do, I entirely support them. And I would never make fun of them, ever. But I know that they don't. They are ashamed of how they look. Not your friends, these fucking Nazis. They are ashamed of how they look. If you are someone who says we should punch Nazis in the face, I don't believe you if you say we shouldn't call them fat. Like, you can't have both of these concepts in your brain at the same time. And I see it from the same people, and it makes me want to explode.
Do you know there's this really annoying trend amongst content creators? I've decided this is an annoying trend. Whether other people are annoyed by it, I don't know, but it bugs me. There's a lot of self-diagnosed autism going on. I see a lot of folks that say, well, I suffer from X, Y, Z or whatever, so you have to excuse me for being an asshole, which bugs me too. But anyway, I think that there might be a lot of this actually going around with people who start these arguments, because I need you guys to understand something. You don't have to mean everything you say. I know that's a foreign concept, especially when you're arguing or you're insulting someone. None of it needs to be true. Like, it doesn't. You're not trying to win honesty points in this debate. When you're talking to like a far right winger, a Nazi, a bigot, an open and proud white supremacist, you aren't engaging on a battle between intellectual equals on the on this topic. That's gone. You only have the attack, and they understand that. They understand the attack, and they understand you don't got to mean everything you say. So when I start making fun of a conservative and I say, yeah, I fucked your dad and he loved it. He keeps calling me, begging for more because he's so disappointed in his son. That's great. Do that shit. Do it more and more. And it doesn't mean I'm insulting people for being gay. I'm insulting him because I know it will hurt his feelings. That's all you got to do, folks. You got to learn how this shit works. But speaking of comedy, I think The Daily Show had a clip about this topic, John. Let's see. I
think I know exactly what you're about to show right now, and it's fucking fantastic.
Yeah, J.D. Vance's response to hearing Republicans saying Nazi shit.
The people who are saying this is Gestapo stuff, they're calling us Nazis.
The group chat members spoke freely about the love of Nazis.
They've called us Nazis. They've called us Hitler. They've called us fascists.
I love Hitler. Leaked messages exposed.
If you don't obey them, they denounce you as a racist. Why do they keep calling it racist?
One of the messages referred to black people as monkeys and watermelon people.
Stop demonizing us. Don't call us Hitler anymore. Don't call us Nazis.
One talked about sending political opponents to gas chambers to, quote, watch people burn now.
Receipts, proof, timeline, screenshots, everything.
All right. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but I really wish I'd see more of this. This is from someone, I don't know who this person is, a streamer named David Riley. And so, no, I know Right Wing Watch, but the person who they've clipped here is a far-right streamer named David Riley. I don't know who this person is. Says that young Republicans who are being fired from their leaked chats were good young kids who should be supported. On the upside, the same thing once happened to Riley, and now or you know what? Here, I'll let him say it. Is it on the screen, John?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
We need to close ranks around these young kids. These were good young kids that thought that they were in private, making edgy jokes as one does.
Okay, real quick, we're going to pause, John. We're a little side part here. I can't believe they're getting away with calling these folks kids when the ages for everyone haven't been released. But I think you mentioned before that the ages of the people who we do know are between 24 and 35 or 25. What was that right?
It was something like that. I saw a tweet. It had all their ages. It was basically most between 24 and 35. And I saw another tweet. It was absolutely excellent. It said, Trayvon Martin was killed 13 years ago. if he were alive today, he would still be younger than the oldest member of this group chat.
Wow.
And
yeah.
that puts it in perspective for you, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they keep saying kids because the headline says young Republicans, and I like what I said before. I think it should have been called relatively young Republicans, because if you can be there at 35 or 39, then is it really young anymore? And the what is the oldest age that you can realistically call someone a kid? Because this is funny, because I have two answers. They're right next to each other. 23 is the answer that I go with as like my oldest that I could get away with it. Maybe 24. Definitely not 25. By the time you're 25, okay, your trial run at adulthood is over. It's showtime now. But I can see saying 23 because that's right around post-college age. Like after college, I think your kid days are over. Like you're an adult now. So like the fact that most of these people are well over 24 years old and they're still using kid is amazing. But what's your cutoff for kid?
My cutoff, I think I agree with you at 24. Like, and that feels disingenuous, right? Like if I were you put a gun to my head, you're like, is 24-year-old a kid? Fuck no. But if you're saying the absolute oldest where I could still view someone as a kid, it's basically kind of when college ends. And again, I or undergrad, I would view a college senior as an adult generally.
Yeah.
And I would view a college freshman as obviously a kid, even though they're probably 18. That's because college is this interesting state of arrested development. I think it's one of the best things we have done as a society is giving 18 to 24-year-olds this walled garden to fuck around in and grow up. It's great. But it does cause this arrested development. I'm sure 22-year-olds of the past century have been fucking adults in a way that they really aren't considered now. Totally fine with me. But yeah, if I'm going to stretch it, I would say if they are 24 years old, I could maybe see you calling them a kid. But like, yeah, it's a stretch even at that point. But again, these are grown-ass adults, and especially if you're one of the motherfuckers who are like, oh yeah, Trayvon Martin, he was a grown man or whatever. Like that, now you're just being racist as shit. Like that, you're obviously showing the racial bias here in your determination of who's a kid and who's an adult, and it's just wrong.
I agree. All right, let's let this guy cook.
And like I've seen it in my life. When I got canceled in 2017, anti-Semite, and I never really fucking said anything anti-Semitic. Okay. But once I got called that, all of a sudden, you know what? I am going to take another look at World War II. I'm going to take another look at Jewish group behavior. And all of a sudden, guess what? Now I'm an anti-Semite. So thank you.
Oh, can you hear me? My computer's frozen. Oh no.
I can hear. Yeah, you're totally frozen, but I can hear what he's saying.
Okay, that last part I wanted to draw attention to because
we're creating
more
radicals.
He kind of just answered our question for us. As we call you anti-Semites and everything. Well, you shouldn't do that, but once I did my research, it turned out I was actually. I am anti-Semitic. I guess. Thank you. And I mean, I know you've said this a million times. I've said it too. I am so tired of the fast and loose way people use the word canceled. I don't even know who this guy is. But canceling is just taking criticism. That's it. If people make fun of you, you're being canceled. Like you don't have to lose anything. Just the act of people saying that I think what you said was bad counts as canceling. Now that's pretty annoying. But anyway, about that guy, I do hope we see more of this. Hope we see more Republicans just coming out and saying, yeah, I actually am a fascist, and I am anti-Semite, I am a racist, I am a bigot. I would respect them a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, no, that entire line of argument there, like, hey, you calling us fascists made us fascists, it's utterly insane. And yet you will hear Republicans and conservatives make this argument all the fucking time. You don't believe me? Go into my comments section. Like, you'll see it right there. It happens all the time. They're like, oh, well, I'm glad he explicitly stated, oh, you called me an anti-Semite and fuck you for it, but then I looked into it and, oh, I guess I have to be an anti-Semite now. Yeah, no, like, this is the accurate conclusion of your beliefs. And that's the thing that they always go to. They're like, oh, well, I don't hate whatever. I don't hate Jewish people. I don't hate black people. I don't hate women. I don't hate whatever your fucking minority group is. I just think things should be this way. And the thing that they just don't do is go, well, if things are this way, that specifically hurts this minority group you're claiming not to hate. That's the thing. That's why we call you racist, bigoted, anti-Semitic, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It has nothing to do with your own personal perception of the hate you have in your heart for a specific minority group. Because if you follow your logic all the way down the line, you're gonna get there yourself, just like this guy did. That's the thing. Like that, the things that you support, your actions indicate that you are whatever we're fucking calling you. That's it. Just be honest about it. Be honest about it, and I can have an intellectual conversation with you about it. But if you're not going to be honest about it, I don't know how to handle this, because it's just like, if you look at this group chat and go, "Oh, these are just kids making jokes," it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? These are 20 and 30-year-olds. Yeah, I can concede that these are made in jest. These comments are made in jest. They are jokes. Don't get me wrong. But the thing that makes the jokes funny indicates an ideology that is exactly in line with Nazi ideology. Like there's no other way to mince that, and to pretend otherwise is just being dishonest.
Yeah. Man. I what do you think we are going to see more of this though? I because like John was saying before,
it's just gonna keep getting worse from here.
Yeah, years ago, I remember just exploring like deep in the alt-right pipeline and just running across the stuff that they were saying and everything. And after a while, I got to the point I said, okay, this is filled with a lot of people, a lot of Republicans. Most of the stuff is stuff you hear Republicans say all the time. The alt-right pipeline just makes it a lot more explicit. And I started thinking, at this point, this is probably 2000, I don't know, 13, 2014. And I remember thinking, I have a hard time believing your average Republican isn't aware of this. I just have a hard time believing that. Like, with as prolific as this content is, with how often the people who say this stuff are being platformed, how large these accounts are, how popular these people. I mean, you had like Nick Fuentes, who's an open Nazi.
He's becoming more mainstream now, DJ. Like,
yes,
CNN is writing articles about Nick Fuentes. Like, it's awful.
Kanye West, who unironically stated how much he loved Hitler dozens of times, it seems like, and they were with the soon-to-be president of the United States. What do you want me to think here? Like, I don't know why as many Republicans are hiding the truth that apparently doesn't seem necessary. I don't know. And I know we're going to get... Go ahead, John.
Oh, I was going to say, like, that's the thing, though, TJ. They do not ever want to admit fault. Like, this is between us and them. They feel like if they don't believe they're racist, they cannot be. That is genuinely the actual conservative viewpoint. That no matter what they do, as long as they don't believe they hate black people, they cannot be racist. And therefore, anyone calling them racist is being mean to them. And that's insane. It's an insane way of thinking, but it is how they think. And normal people, if someone tells me, hey, what you just said was racist, they may or may not be right. I have been called racist for things that were clearly not racist. I have been called racist for things that I've looked at it and analyzed and gone like, you know what? You're right. I shouldn't have said this. I should have said this. Like, I've learned, I've grown, I've whatever. That doesn't mean you're a bad person, because again, everyone has innate racial bias. Everyone is racist in some way, shape, or form. It is ingrained in our culture, in our society, in our upbringing. Some of us more than others. This idea that racist means bad guy is the problem. Because people go, well, I'm not a bad guy, therefore I can't be racist. But if you actually, in your heart of hearts, thought that racists were the bad guys, when you heard yourself being called racist, you do everything you could to not be that. But they don't do that. They don't try to grow and evolve and make sure they aren't racist. They try to defend the fact that who they are right now isn't racist. And that's the difference between the conservatives and the progressives. We're always trying to change and evolve and get better. Conservatives are always trying to defend what they have as the best possible thing. That is like innately the difference between those two ideologies, and it's the reason why you don't see group chats of progressive fucking organizers talking about how much they love Hitler and shit. They don't make those jokes because they fucking learned, and these guys didn't. And this will never change, TJ. It will
and
never.
They're going to be fine. They're going to be fine. They're not going to have any trouble. Finding work for Republicans after this. I guarantee you. And you know what's weird?
Might have trouble getting a girlfriend, TJ. Might have trouble getting a girlfriend. I will say that.
I don't know about that either. Honestly, there are. I just like. I don't know. I was really shocked this last election with the women vote. I was like, I expected it to just be a torrent, but white women still majority Republicans. Still, it's like, whoo, yikes! I don't know, man.
Wow, that one, I will never understand it, TJ. I will never, because like the white women in my life. Not the case. And I don't know where these white women are at, TJ. Where are the white women at?
This is the like a great psyop that white women have done, is that they even tricked me into thinking, oh, okay, well, there, of course, the majority of women, like white women, are gonna, realize the air. Nope. For what, the 12th, 15th straight election, white women voted majority for Republicans. They voted for Donald Trump a majority 3 straight times. So I don't want to hear it anymore. That white women, they're turning. Nope, no, they're not. They're not coming to help anybody out. It's not happening at all. And what's weird, what you mentioned, is that how this is something that happens. Like, we've noticed this over the years, over and over again, that conservatives will, oddly enough, defer to decorum politics of saying, it's really important that I call you friend and that I'm nice to you and you treat me the same way. Even though I say we should be able to hunt poor people for sport, you still have to treat me with the same deference. It's like, no, actually, I'm not going to do that. Wow. So since we disagree on a political issue, you're going to be mad at me. That makes you the bad guy. And this horrible thing keeps happening. And I try my best to divert away from it whenever it happens, in that if you're arguing with a right winger, it's not going to do you any good to call them a racist at all. Because one of two things: either one, they know they're a racist and they don't care, which in any sense you saying it's not going to help anything, or two, they don't believe they're a racist. And instead of having an argument about the policy and what the end result is, you end up talking for 30 minutes about whether that person individually, in their heart of hearts, hates minority group X, which is inconsequential. I cannot stress enough how inconsequential it is whether or not if you read the writings of slave owners, which is an example I use on this a lot. Sorry, I said on the show before, but if you read the writings of slave owners from the 17 or 1800s, you will very rarely find any of them saying, I hate black people. I fucking hate them. I wish the worst on them. No, what you will hear them say is, I love these people. I have a great heart for these folks. I want to help them have the most, efficient and pleasant life they can, to maximize their potential, to do their best, to get into heaven. Maybe one of these days we can civilize them and they can live free among us. But they still enslaved and raped and brutalized over and over again. But none of them will say, yeah, I hate them. And so by the standards of today's Republicans, they'd say, well, they weren't racist. Look, they never said they hated black people, which is essentially what racist to them means. Racist means you wear Klan hoods. That's what a racist is. Like, anything short of that isn't racist at all. So it's kind of absurd.
We keep coming to this theme of like, we just tangent, like, without ever talking to each other. We agree on these. One of my first ever pieces of like, I'm trying to be a political content creator. Before I even found TikTok, when I was writing media blogs for like 10 people, the very first articles I did was stop calling Republicans racist, because it doesn't.
Oh, look at that!
It was years ago, and you are. It's just as correct now as it was then. They don't. It doesn't make. It does not matter to them. It will not convince a single person. All you're doing is virtue signaling to your fucking in group that you're not one of the racists. That's all you're doing by calling them racist. And like, it's totally okay to like say they're racist, but if you're intent to change minds, calling them racist ain't going to do shit.
Yeah, it's like, you're much better off saying, well, hey, this policy that you're supporting is destructive. It's going to make people's lives worse. It's going to cost more money. It's going to Yeah, it's going to harm a lot of people, and the problem in the long run is going to be worse than it is now. That you got to address that, which is the way it should be addressed. And because you start with a racist thing, it's not really going to get anywhere. Now, you could even go to what we actually mean by racism is that, okay, this is specifically hurting Group X a lot more than Group Y. Like, why do you think that's the case? Maybe that will matter, maybe it won't. But once you start to moralize this, you end up losing them real quick. John, real quick, we spent an hour on that. Holy shit. I want to go to this clip because I know you want to talk about Hakeem Jeffries, but I want to mention someone else in the House, or not the House, but in Congress. He's in the Senate, Cory Booker. There was an interview I saw with, what's the name of the show? It's called I've Had It podcast. And there's a couple of clips of her interviewing Cory Booker. Have you seen this? Does this look familiar at all?
It doesn't. But
okay, cool.
Maybe I'm wrong.
All right. So she is kind of like us in a lot of ways. I've seen clips of her before, but the questions she's asking Cory Booker are pretty similar to the ones that we would ask. And so you don't get to see this a lot. But here we go. Here's the first clip we have.
Do you think he's a war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu? Do you think he's a war criminal?
Again, these are questions that a lot of people think are the important litmus tests that are loaded and hot.
Let's before we get Cory Booker's answer on that, John, I'll try this to you. Do you think Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, John?
Yes. Didn't hesitate. No, I do think he's a war criminal. I also love his. These are litmus tests that are loaded and hot, bro. That's what a litmus test is. If they aren't loaded and hot, it's not a very good litmus test. Now, is it?
Yeah, imagine a shitty litmus test. It's like, I don't know what color to give you.
Do you
is
like
it a base?
candy? Litmus test.
That's like, all right, here we go.
Do you think he's a war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu? Do you think he's a war criminal?
Again, these are questions that a lot of people think are the important litmus tests that are loaded and hot. My urgency is to be an effective leader in bringing an end to this crisis. And I get these questions all the time that, to me, undermine my urgency.
I think the thing that Democrats get so frustrated with, where we are right now, where you see like the Zoran Mamdanis and the Graham Platters rise up, because they can go on podcasts and you can say, do you think Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal? And they just say, yes. And that's the end of it. It's not all of the rhetoric answering. It's like what happens to politicians, they go through this like prism, and then we can't ever get like the answer to yes or no conversations like you do with Bernie and others. And that's the frustration for the Democratic.
Do I think Netanyahu is worse than Trump? Yes.
The end of that I find particularly annoying because he teased it up. So, okay, here, I'll give you your answer. Here's the answer you're looking for. Do I think Netanyahu's worse than Trump? Yes, which is a question she did not ask. I mean, great. I'm glad you think that, but that doesn't answer anything I had. Your thoughts, John? Had you seen that before?
I had not seen that. Who is that? Colby commented, hope you guys can do a video with them one day. I love seeing clips of them. I don't know who that is.
I've seen it's the I've Had It podcast. I've seen it before. I've seen a few clips, and they're usually pretty good. I have another one too for Cory Booker.
I do like, because that is awesome that she got to ask.
It's great.
But she's so well. Okay, we're gonna change the banner here. We are now on Hakeem Jeffries. I know that Hakeem Jeffries isn't Cory Booker, and they are different people, but like everything we're about to say applies to both of them.
Applies both ways. Yes, yeah.
The Cory Booker, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer wing of the party, right? It applies to all of them, and it is so true what she says. How when Zoran Mamdani, Graham Plattner, we've never talked about Graham Plattner. I fucking love Graham Plattner. I got an email from his campaign the other day, and I was like, I never signed up for this, but I'm glad you identified that. He was like asking for money. I was like, bro, I don't even fucking live. Like, I'm feeling. Anyway, the thing she said about like, when they get these questions, they just say yes, because that's the thing that makes sense. The idea that you're saying this is a hot loaded question, why do you think that? It doesn't make any sense for you to think that. He's clearly a war criminal. We've seen the IDF. We've been sitting at our phones watching constant war crimes over and over again. We have seen babies ripped apart, being carried in their mother's arms out of rubble at a hospital, at a refugee camp that's been bombed. We've seen it. And for you to say, it's a hot loaded question. Why are you focused on whether this is a war crime? I'm just trying to get things to stop. I'm not focused on whether this is a war crime. I already know the answer to that, Mr. Booker. I'm focused on whether you will admit that or not. Because it's every single person I am friends with that like we talk about this stuff, they'll easily say yes to that question. Zorhan Mamdani will say yes to that question. Graham Plattner will say yes to that question. Why are you hesitant to say yes to that question? That's the thing we're concerned with. If you said yes to the question, you'd stop getting it. But the fact that you keep giving these non-answers is the reason you keep getting it. I don't want to hear that you're frustrated about it because it's a really easy problem to solve. Just say the war criminal who we've been watching live stream war crimes is a war criminal. It's not that fucking hard unless you have ulterior motives.
And speaking of which, let's see what those might be. I think this clip addresses that.
Feels like the Democratic opposition is just not getting it. There are votes that you've made that were heartbreaking to me, like the vote for Kushner. That really pissed me off. This administration, it's not, are they fascist? They are fascist. It's not, we're on the precipice of fascism. Texas is sending troops to Illinois. I feel like the opposition needs to be fuck no across the board. We're not giving you a centimeter. And I think there's been a lot of capitulation, Neville Chamberlain type appeasement from Democratic leadership. And you're one of them that's kind of been disappointing to me because we podcasted before. They're serious about Project 2025. They're going to do all this shit. What do you have to say about the capitulation that you participated in and where the Democratic Party is right now?
Well, first of all, I would say very pointedly that one of the things I dislike about the Democratic Party is that we do a circular firing squad all the time. Their party, they disagree. There's wild disagreements in the Republican tent, and yet they don't shoot at each other. And we have a really good way of holding up these purity tests that if I agree with you on 95...
That's such bullshit. That is such bullshit.
I love this. I love this so much.
I'm experiencing like secondhand embarrassment. This is the opposite. It's like secondhand, like fucking, like I'm just like, I want this so bad for myself. I want to be able to say, I can't just hearing someone say that to him is so cathartic. Cathartic is the word. It's secondhand cathartic.
Yes. Yeah. It's you never see stuff like this. I'm actually wondering how it happened because their staff is supposed to filter this stuff out so they don't get the answer. I do got to say, Booker kept his better composure than I have seen other politicians.
I will agree with that. Booker, for all of his faults, is good on the spot at speaking.
Yeah.
Unlike Hakeem Jeffries, he's very good at that.
Yeah. There was the one with what's her name in California, Katie, the Congresswoman, and she's running for governor now. Katie Porter. Yeah, there was I saw a clip of her blowing up at a reporter. What's his name? Richie Torres when he was with Adam Freeland, whatever. They look really bad. Booker, I got to say, I think she's grilling him. She's giving him the business, but he does answer like with a smile and going through. It's like, but she's not buying. She's like, nope, let's keep going this further. I even felt, I know it was the last clip where she mentioned it. I felt vindicated on our part when she says, when you were doing your 25-hour speech, I was cheering you. Yay, Corey, go Corey. We were a little suspicious when it happened, and we were vindicated. Yep, sure enough, he voted for Kushner the next day or something like that. It's all bullshit. It's all.
Oh well, we lost TJ there.
No, yeah, I actually kicked myself off trying to add the video, but here we go.
In the Republican tent, and yet they don't shoot at each other. And we have a really good way of holding up these purity tests. That if I agree with you on 95,
that's such bullshit. That is such bullshit. They fire at each other all the time. Trump has sent so many people out to pasture, so many people that he calls rhinos. Liz Cheney can tell you that they have the firing squad as well. It's not a purity test. It's, are we in this fight, and are we being beholden to corporations and corporate interests?
Okay, that's not the one I thought it was, but there's another one. one where she asks him if he's taken money from He says he doesn't take money from super PACs or something. And then she says, well, you do take money from AIPAC, right? And he says, well, AIPAC only accounts for a minuscule amount of the money that I've raised. AIPAC has donated, like, full together, it's only like 0.8% of all of my money comes from AIPAC. And she says, you've raised $830,000 from AIPAC. He goes, but that's over the course of my entire political career. It's like, this doesn't make it any better. You probably mean they've given you almost $1 million to put you in a position to be a senator in the United States of America, one of the most well-known senators, influential people in American politics. I don't know how much it helps your cause to say, well, they've only given me an insignificant quarter or $750,000. I don't think it helps you out at all.
Yeah, no, I need to go watch this. Like, I'm now invested. I want to watch this podcast. It's so cathartic to hear people talk to them like this, because it is the truth. It's on why I'm so excited about the Grand Planners, the Zohran Mamdanis, the Cats of the world, that they're entering the political sphere now and are winning and are going to continue to win because everyone's fed up about this. What she said was exactly what I was thinking when she said that. When he said that, TJ, the Republicans firing squad all the fucking time. They fall in line when they're supposed to, but you know what? Democrats do that too. Democrats always fall in line. Like, there's very rarely do you see a contentious vote in Congress for Democrats. In fact, you see far more contention in votes for Republicans than you do for Democrats. They ousted their own fucking Speaker of the House. That is more circular firing squad than anything the Democrats have ever done. So whenever I hear this, oh, we're circling fire squad, that's why we lose. No, that's not why we lose. It's because the wrong people are winning the firing squad. That's why the wrong people are being shot. That's the problem. The problem is when you get legitimate criticism from one of your own coalition, you don't give a fucking straight answer. And that's the problem. That's why people hate you. That's why people hate the Democratic Party more than the Republicans. Because at least when the Republicans talk, I either know they're giving me a straight answer or I know they know they're lying. Like it's very clear and obvious. You can see the distinction every single fucking time. With Democrats, I cannot tell you. I do not know in my heart of hearts whether or not Cory Booker thinks Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal. Pretty simple moral distinction. Anyone I know of my friend group, I can tell you whether or not they think Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal. I can tell you. Even without asking them, I can tell you. I don't know Cory Booker. I don't know what he thinks about that because he's never given a straight answer. And that is an utter failure for a elected representative of the United States of America to, I don't know whether or not you think the leader of one of our supposed closest allies is a war criminal or not. It's utterly insane.
Luckily, though, we have a fantastic Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, who I believe his job is locked up. He has no challengers. Yeah, everyone has given him their full support. Am I correct on this, John? You are the founder of the Hakeem Jeffries fan club.
Yes. You are not correct about this, TJ.
Oh no!
Are you about to show something? Because I do have the receipts here. Okay, this was I saw this today on Axios. This is Axios went and they contacted every Democrat in the House of Representatives to try and see, do you support Hakeem Jeffries as the Democratic leader of the House? And very interesting results here, right? So Axios reached out to virtually every Democrat running for a House seat that could conceivably be won by a Democrat in 2026, with 113 responding in phone interviews or written answers. Of the 113 responses they got, only 20 said they wouldn't vote. Oh, I'm sorry. Of the 20 said they wouldn't vote for Jeffries as Speaker or Minority Leader, with 5 more saying they would likely vote against him. Another 57 candidates declined to commit to supporting Jeffries, saying it was premature to do so, citing ideological differences or outlining perceived flaws in strategy, messaging, or leadership that they want to see addressed. Only 24 said they would definitely vote for Jeffries, with another saying 7 they would likely do so. That's really bad for the Speaker of the House. That's what they're telling the press. They're putting themselves on record. Again, these people said no, they will not support Jeffries. These people said they lean no. All of these people said, I will not put myself on record saying either way. I'm actually very it's weird to see Kat there. For those of you who don't know, Kat is a influencer like ourselves that is running for Congress and is going to fucking win. And I'm surprised to see her say no there. I think she's probably just trying to play nice. And these are the yeses. This is a fucking open contest, and you don't see that for the speaker. You won't see that for Mike Johnson. You will not see that. You did not. You never see that for Nancy Pelosi. It is not looking good for Jeffries that this many people in Congress or running for Congress are uncommitted.
So let me see the first section there on top with the orange. That is no's. And then what is the second one?
This is lean no. Like
lean no.
They didn't say like a definite answer, but like, yeah, I probably wouldn't vote.
And then non-response. Is that what that is?
That's non-committal. They would not commit to either yes or no. That's the giant gray section.
I can't believe they put their names to this.
Yep. To the press, like the Axios called them up, and they said they could have not answered, and they said no. I cannot commit either yes or no, and that is damning.
Damn. Wow. Oh yeah. I'm kind of shocked. It's not more overwhelming, even with one who you don't have faith in. I wouldn't publicly say, yeah, I'm not sure. Wow, yeah, but then again, Jeffries isn't exactly lighting it up. Have you seen any bright spots in Hakeem Jeffries? Like anything that made you think, okay, maybe there's something here. Maybe he has something going for him. I've seen one thing. I've seen exactly one. I don't know if you have any examples.
I don't know if I've seen one thing, to be perfectly honest with you, TJ. I can't name a single one, but maybe what you're about to tell me, I'll agree with.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying this is amazing or that this has turned me into a Hakeem Jeffries fan, but I saw this last week, and this is during the government shutdown, and some Republican is out in front of Hakeem Jeffries' office trying to call him out, and Hakeem Jeffries walks out of the office and confronts him and proceeds to kind of shout him down, at least Hakeem Jeffries' style of doing it, and it seemed like a different guy. But all right, here we go.
On your extension, why don't we sign on right now? Let me ask you a question. Did you get permission from your boss? Why don't we sign on right now? Did your boss Donald Trump? Did your boss Donald Trump give you permission? Yes, he is. No, he's not. By the way, so let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. For years, you always lectured about how we need to keep the government open. You're making a show of this to make yourself relevant. It's sad. You could easily sign on. You're embarrassing yourself right now. You're chasing clout. You're an embarrassment. You could sign on to the bill. Let me ask you a question. You have 4 Democrats on here. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. It's a clean extension for 1 year. You voted for the one big ugly bill, correct? I voted for a tax cut bill that gave the largest tax cut to Americans in history, including, by the way, the average New Yorker getting a $4,000 tax cut. Are you against that? You're embarrassing yourself right now. You want to cut the standard deduction? The largest cut to Medicaid in American history. You voted for that. Fraud and abuse, by the way. You voted Tom DiNapoli, the Democratic controller of New York. Let me ask you a question. Pointed out that $1.2 billion were wasted. Listen, you're not going to talk to me. You're not going to talk to me and talk over me because you don't want to hear what I have to say. Oh, I'm listening. So why don't you just keep your mouth shut? Oh, because you showed up. You showed up. And so you voted for this one big ugly bill. You can extend it right now. Permanent extension of massive tax breaks for your billionaire donors. So 90% of Americans.
There was more to that too when he kept going, but basically the guy was trying to blame the Democrats for the shutdown, and he says, like, do you know basic math? Like, can you count how many Democrats are there? How many Republicans are there? You guys outnumber us. Any shutdown is going to be your fault. This is the only time I've seen Hakeem Jeffries be even mildly aggressive. I didn't know he had it in him. And so I was like, if he could turn that up a little bit, because a lot of the stuff isn't just what Hakeem Jeffries says. A lot of people will criticize us and saying, well, you make fun of his strongly worded letters. There's not much else he can do. You could deliver them well. Okay. You could actually get up there. You could actually seem angry, seem menacing, don't seem like a robot. But I was like, oh wow, maybe he's gotten wind that people don't like him, and he's trying his best to, show his cojones off a little bit. They're not much, but it's the first sign of aggression I've ever seen from him.
So I did see that. I will admit, like on the Democrat scale, it's not bad.
Yeah,
but like I need more from my leader than that. Like that's just like the baseline minimum, and not even entirely well executed, but like in the right direction. Like he won that exchange, and that's good. That's good. And you do see the genuine, again, human emotion in him there.
Yes.
Like you did see genuine frustration and anger. It wasn't faked. It wasn't focus group. And I think that's probably maybe his problem, is that maybe he just needs to go off the cuff more. I don't fucking know. I'm done with him. He's failed the test. I don't need to see any more, TJ. I'm gonna have to see more. We're gonna have to keep talking about this guy. But like, yeah, I'll say, yeah, that was fine. Not good. You know what's actually funny, TJ? What you said there. What are they going to do? They don't actually have the power. All they can do is write strongly worded letters, but they could deliver them better. And you're right. Something I've always said, that we have the historical precedent for this, and I've said this on the show before, is the FDR fireside chats. He would go on the radio. He would talk directly to the American people. It was massively effective. It was an incredibly effective communication strategy from not even debatably the greatest Democratic president of all time in terms of accomplishments at the very least. And we just never did again for reasons that don't make sense to me. Do you know who fucking does that, TJ? You know who I learned?
Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump does that.
Okay, so Donald Trump does, like, he's just
he talks every day. He talks to the American public through the media. Yeah.
But specifically the fireside chat thing, where it's like, this is a schedule. We're going to sit down at this time every day, and I'm going to have a conversation with the American people. Donald Trump doesn't do that. He's totally effective in what he does. Don't get me wrong. But Claudia Sheinbaum every morning, Monday through Friday in Mexico, she does a live stream and talks about what she wants to talk about that day, and it sets the entire news cycle. And she got that from her predecessor, another very progressive leader in a fairly conservative fucking country. And it just shows how effective this shit can be if you are just willing to put yourself out there and talk from your own perspective and be a human. Show people who you are, not who you want them to think you are, but show people who you genuinely are. And if you aren't genuinely good enough for them, get the fuck out of the way for someone who is, because this is bigger than you. And that's a thing none of these politicians ever fucking understand. I genuinely believe, TJ, maybe not in the future, but like if you were to ask Zoran Mamdani right now, if he felt he wasn't an effective leader of New York City, would you step down? He would say yes. Again, he hasn't had the power yet, so let it corrupt him. But like,
let's not get carried away here. Hold on.
Right now, before he's in the seat of power, I would think that he would say that, just like I would right now. And
yeah, it's easy to say when you don't have.
I understand power could very easily corrupt me, but that's one of the things that fucking pisses people off about these people. That's why, and they act like that's ridiculous when it's not.
Yeah, if I were in that position and you asked me if I would surrender the power, of course I would say yes. Would I surrender it? Hell no. Hell no, that's not happening. There's no chance. This is people.
PJ, I'm. Call me out on this shit if I ever become president, right? But like,
here we go.
If I'm not saying if I thought there were better people out there than me, would I give it up? No. But if I was like Joe Biden and clearly not able to talk, yeah, I'd fucking step down. If I was Mitch McConnell, literally just falling over while walking, I would stop doing my job, TJ. I'd be like, you know what? Someone else can do this. I don't need this shit anymore. If I was Hakeem Jeffries, and I was like, I could live the rest of my life just in Congress and let someone else take the heat for all this shit, I would do that, because clearly, clearly I'm not up for it. I would only want that power if I could wield it effectively. I genuinely believe this, because like at times when I've had access to power, I haven't taken it until I feel confident fucking taking it. Maybe I'm wrong, TJ. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, John, you're so much better.
I'm not saying
you're so much
I'm
better
not
than
saying
everybody
I
else,
like.
John. You are so much more altruistic and reasonable. Like you would never ever step into the same trap every human steps into all throughout our history. John is exempt from that. He would only use his. Listen, okay. I guess
I'm not
I'm
even
probably
saying
with.
that. I'm saying that if I was that embarrassingly bad, and I was like TJ, I sometimes look at clips of myself on here. I'm like, that was bad. Maybe I should stop this. And then I look at a good one. I'm like, I should keep going. And that's for us fucking podcasting to a small group of people. If I was the Speaker of the goddamn House and I put out the shit that Hakeem Jeffries does, I'd be like, I'm embarrassed. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm clearly not up for this. Let someone else have a step at the plate. I feel like I'd be embarrassed, Steve. Like that's the feeling. I would get so much embarrassment from how bad I am at this job that I would not want to do it anymore.
Listen, I'd like to think that about myself as well, but I know myself a little better than that. Now, I will say I agree with you in the beginning. If I were Mitch McConnell or Joe Biden, if I'm in my late 70s, early 80s,
those ones, it's just insane. I don't even understand.
Definitely. Like there is like the clock is ticking. I don't want to die at my desk. Like, why am I doing this? Like, this is a stressful job. I gotta talk as these debates. No, I could easily see separating myself at that point. If I was Hakeem Jeffries, though, I'm like in my 50s. I'm never ever going to have a position as high as this the rest of my life. You would have to drag me with a team of horses away from the job. Okay, like it would take Trump would have to send to the National Guard to remove me from my office. It's like, no, this is the pinnacle of my career. There haven't been that many speakers of the House of Representatives in U.S. history. I'm just going to surrender my spot in.
It's the pinnacle of your career, TJ. You're good now. You did it.
Yeah,
you're clearly not getting any better at it.
So yeah, I could. Yeah, I mean, maybe but if you're that kind of person, though, like that kind of person would never be in that position.
I get it. It's the
that kind of. It's just not gonna. I'm just talking about me, and that too is like, yeah, no. If I was old, absolutely, I would drop out and let someone else do it. But man, if I'm in here, it's like your shittiest day as Speaker of the House is going to be better than your greatest day as a random representative somewhere. That's not going anywhere. That's
the thing I vehemently disagree with.
Oh no.
If I sucked, I would be happier. This is my thing. I would rather be a backup quarterback than a bad starting quarterback. I don't care that the bad starting quarterback makes more money than me. I got my millions. I'm good already. I would rather sit there on that bench, know that I'm bad, have no one expect me to be good. And if I go out there, well, you know what? I was the backup quarterback. That is amazing. If I was good, obviously I'd want to be the starting quarterback. But if I'm not, well, I wouldn't want to embarrass myself and pretend that I'm that good.
John, once again, but you're speaking of this as someone who's like the backup quarterback for the shittiest team in the NFL has been the best quarterback in his county
that's the selection
for his entire life, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right. So, like, I mean, you can't go from always being the best athlete anyone's ever seen to saying, actually, at this level, you're barely making the cut. You're going to sit on the bench for a year. Now, would I do it? You bet your ass I do it. Of course. Like, it's better than going outside and have a regular job, sure. And you could have a long career because you're not getting injured. You know, you just got to kind of keep the pace. Whatever. You could play 10, 15 years, have a nice little nest egg. Now, would you be happy and fulfilled? No. But not everybody gets that. So but if I had the option, you get to start 16, 17 games a season and show of course I'm taking that. I would, but you know, I get it. I understand what you're saying. It's not like it's a bad life. I don't feel sorry for them or anything, but folks just don't give up pristine positions like that. I just don't know about that. But Jeffries, do you think that his days, because look, if the Democrats win the House next year, which I'm sure they will, well, sure, I suspect they will.
We're actually going to get to that, TJ, but yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, so if that happens, I can easily see them saying, well, I mean, hey, we won the House. We're going to punish the guy who just won us the House. I can see that happening too, unless there's someone on the horizon who wants to challenge him. I haven't heard anything about that lately.
I think that he is. Here's the thing, TJ. I think we're going to win the House. And oh shit. I think that the people that are going to help us win the House are going to do so on the backs of being anti-establishment. And so, like, I do see your argument. That's probably the correct thing. Hakeem Jeffries is going to stay in power, but I wouldn't be surprised if there is a purge. And it may not be in this midterms. In fact, it probably isn't. We'll see what happens in 2028. Like, that's when I think the needle really moves, and we're going to get to know the direction of the Democratic Party, because either they're going to go with a Gavin Newsom, a Pete Buttigieg, who's going to keep them on the course that they are, maintaining the status quo, and your Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumers and Nancy Pelosi's are all going to survive. But if they go the direction of an AOC, well, the entire paradigm is going to shift within the Democratic Party, and the days of Hakeem Jeffries will be very fucking numbered. And by numbered, I mean 0, because he won't be the Speaker of the House if the Democratic Party is shifting so drastically in that way, which I think we can both agree is very much within the realm of possibility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. I can see. Wait a minute. Hold on. TJ, you at the top of the show said it's not. Oh, fuck. Okay. I thought he mentioned something about the mic. Sorry. I was having problems with the mic or whatever. Purge, we'll see. I don't know. Sorry. Oh, gross.
We're both fucking going through it today.
Yeah, I've been sick like the last 2 weeks, and today I'm feeling a little bit better, but still got a scratchy throat.
Did you catch it at the wedding, TJ? Because there was something going around. You were not the only one.
Maybe, because I don't think I was sick at the wedding. It was like last week. Huh? Maybe so. Maybe so.
It probably was. Yeah, no. Me and my wife. We got sick, and a couple of the other wedding party people.
Oh
got sick.
God!
So
you know what? Heather got sick first, and then a couple of days later, I was. So I assume we just got it from her, but she got sick after the wedding too. Wow. Huh. Okay. All right. Maybe so. That's what you get when you get people in from all these different states and throw them together. You know, you never know what's going to happen. But yeah, I'm interested to see where the Democrats head. I really don't know. I really couldn't even begin to guess. And I feel like I'm ill-equipped or not someone who needs to make predictions after all, after seeing, because I would have bet anything Harris would have won that last election and seeing that Trump won it too. I don't know what direction this country's going in, man. I don't know. It's a weird kind of scary time.
Speaking of not knowing which direction this country is going to go in, let's put some money on that, TJ, because so we did a political bets segment a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago at this point. Where we looked at some betting markets, and I looked more into it today. And there is this website called Kalshi, and it has a lot of bets. And I actually want to make some today. I want to get into. I want to put some money down. We're going to track this throughout the course of this show, because they are not just bets. They're trading markets. So you essentially buy contracts, and you can buy and sell them. So this is not just, hey, if AOC wins the Democratic primary, I win X amount of money. It's I'm buying at 12 cents on the dollar, or a dollar on 12 cents that AOC is going to be the Democratic primary nominee. If those odds increase, I can then sell those contracts for a profit. And that's how this market works. So I'm going to put this, I'm going to screen share this. So you just mentioned, will the Democrats win the U.S. House next year? So I've got this up right now, and I'll screen share. What would you say the odds are for Democrats winning the U.S. House next year? Or not
57,
next year,
57%.
Wow, that's pretty fucking good, because it's 58%. He's the betting market right now. TJ, maybe we're going to be good at this. So
let's go.
Why would you say? Because I think I'm buying this. I'm buying yes on this for the Democratic Party winning the U.S. House next year. Why are you as tepid as the betting markets are?
Oh, I don't think 58 is tepid. I think that I would say that there's a better chance than not that the Democrats win, because that's generally what happens in these midterm elections. And especially with Trump we've seen that on the off-year elections, the Trump effect is not quite as strong. People who really love Trump aren't going to go out there and, vote for Carrie Lake because they like Trump. That just doesn't happen that way. So I think that it's more likely than not that the Democrats would win, but I wouldn't put it at like 70%, like an absolute lock or anything. Just more likely than not. So I just guessed around, around 60%.
That's a very solid. I mean, it's a very horse racy number. Like this is actually like this is what you would expect to see. I just think because of those factors that you just mentioned and the just domination we've seen from Democrats in special elections since Trump became president, like we've been seeing them utterly trounce Republicans. This hasn't been, hey, we've won a couple elections that maybe weren't. No, we've been trouncing them. And as you said, historically, the incumbent party typically does not perform well in midterms. And B, on top of that, the Republican Party does not do well in elections where Trump is not on the ballot. So I would say, yeah, you're right. 70% chance is probably high in terms of what I'm actually willing to stake money on. But at 58%, I'm buying the shit out of this. So I'm gonna put $10 on this happening.
Love it.
16. I put $100 in this account so we can just play with this, and we can always choose to buy and sell more. Like I want to keep coming back to this. We're going to become a political betting channel, is what I think.
We're going to make gambling great again.
We're going to make gambling great again. So I apparently just made that fucking bet. It was that easy. I've not actually tested this out. It's actually scary how easy that was. There was no confirmation. I just fucking made it. So there you go. That is which party will win the U.S. House next year. But there's a bunch of these, DJ. Like there are a ton of these, and I want to get into some of them. And actually, we'll take this off the screen for a second because I want to ask you every time what you think the odds are.
Sure.
Look at the thumbnail are. So this one I think is very pertinent to right now. It's getting a lot of movement in the market. How long will the government shutdown last? And the way this works is all binary. So we're going to be betting on more or less than 35 days. So I'm going to say the government shutdown will last more than 35 days. Are you agreeing or disagreeing?
I said no at first, but it doesn't seem like there's any movement at all. Maybe they're going for the record. Let's say, I'll say yes. I wouldn't have said that last week, or the week before, but yeah, I'm gonna go yes.
So I will tell you that the betting market is in favor of yes on that question. What would you say chances you would buy at?
Like what percentage would I buy it at?
Yeah.
Still, I wouldn't. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to something like 51, 52.
Okay. So currently, the betting market is at 66%.
Whoa, 66. Whoa, wow. They're.
So I do sort of so here's the funny thing. I do kind of agree with you. 66% on 35 days. I would probably still make that bet if I had to make a bet, but I don't have to make a bet. I think that the 48% on 40 days is way more attractive because if it's going to last 35 days, why wouldn't it last 40? And the thing that I keep coming back to is they keep saying that they will not swear in the Democratic nominee.
Yeah, I don't know her name.
But because she is the winning vote to release the Epstein files, the moment they open the government back up, she gets sworn in and the Epstein files gets released, which is why I'm very willing to bet. And I'm not going to make a $10 bet. I'll make a $5 bet on this one, but I'm betting 48 cents on my bet that it's going to last more than 40 days. And it's going to get closer. Here's what I love about this. I feel like I'm going to make a shitload of money on this. This is just going to keep going up. The closer we get, it's going to keep going up. I can buy this in about 15 days, and it'll be higher. I can sell it for more money than it is now. This is going to be a recurring segment. I can keep telling myself I'm gambling for content purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is what we got there. So we also have Democratic nominee is a fun one. Who do you think the leading candidate is for the Democratic nominee right now?
Gavin Newsom.
That is correct. What would you say your percentage chance for Gavin Newsom in the betting markets is?
62.
Okay,
no,
so
wait,
you are
probably high, right? Probably really high, right?
So it is. I'm saying of all of the candidates, it is if this person's Democratic nominee, you're going to win this bet. So 62 would be an insane number this early, like a clear winner, right? So like I'm saying that it is lower than 62.
Yeah, because it's like with several people.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. So 14.
14. Okay, so you went high, you went low. So it's actually at 34% for Gavin.
34.
I think personally, I wouldn't make that bet on no, but it's way too high to buy right now. AOC at 10%. That's where I want to put my money. Again, I don't even know if she's going to be running. I think that's why Gavin Newsom is so high, because we're all 100% certain that Gavin Newsom is going to be running. AOC may run for Senate. We don't know yet. But what I'm saying here, and this is why I'm saying this is a shitload of money to be made, that we can buy that right now at 34 cents on Gavin Newsom and at 10 cents on AOC. And by the time the primaries roll around, they're both going to be significantly higher, which is why I think it's insane like that this exists for this market, because people really just, if you have a basic understanding how these things work, there is liquidity to be gained here. But between the two of these, Gavin Newsom at 34, AOC at 10, which one are you buying?
I wouldn't buy either. I think that I've tried to think back to every presidential election and 4 years prior, no one knew who was going to be. Like, it was like the
last one, you knew it was going to be.
Well, I would actually disagree with Trump.
That.
Trump, I knew it was going to be Trump.
In 2024, you knew it was going to be Trump and Biden. We won't count the incumbents. In 2020, you knew it was that Biden would be in the race there. Like you knew that.
I didn't know that. I knew.
Really?
In fact, Biden. I don't think Biden was the favorite in 2016. I don't think anyone would have said that. Like 4 years before the election, that it was like, we didn't know if he was going to run until like a year and a half later or 2 years later. And there were like 17 people that ran. Like Pete Buttigieg would have probably been higher, or But and looking back, I mean, then in 2012, Romney ran. I don't know. I just like every time these happen, like 4 years in advance, like, it's who knows what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years. That's why I say that.
And that's why I like the fact that I can sell these at a later date. This isn't, I have to be making this bet they're going to win. So I'm going to buy $10 of AOC stock. I actually do think AOC will be the Democratic nominee for president in 2028. Like, if you were to put a gun to my head right now, I would say, yeah, that's going to happen.
Really?
But who would you say? Like, if you were to say, you don't think AOC?
I think they are going to. I think, well, it might not be Gavin Newsom. I don't know. But I think that the Democrats are going to nominate the straightest, whitest man they can find for this next election. I do. I think that asking the Democrats to say, hey, the third time's the charm, we'll get a woman in, I don't think they're going to buy it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's even good politics. I'm just saying that they're going to be gun shy on electing a Latina woman of color who's like just barely 40 years old. No, I don't think they're going to do it. I just don't think they're going to do it.
So, and that is why I say that AOC should run for Senate and wait to run for president. If I was AOC, that's what I would do. I just don't think she will. And I think AOC will consolidate the progressive wing of the party in a way that I don't think the liberals will be able to come around on. And I think that the progressive wing of the party is going to be bloodthirsty and ready to win in 2028. Again, I could be wrong. I could be fucking Charlie Brown kicking the football here. But I do think at I 10 cents on the dollar, I'm buying the fuck out of that, because that number is going to go up. Like that number, unless she announces she's running for Senate instead of president, is just going to go up. I am 100% certain between now and 2028, which is why I'm so comfortable making that bet. Gavin Newsom probably is going to go up too. In fact, I would be pretty comfortable making both of those bets, and I might at a later date. I just might want to see Gavin Newsom's price fall a little bit. AOC is just more attractive to me. Anyway, okay,
John.
So
before you go on as a question here, I want to know your opinion. I think you said something on the show before. Nona K98 says, "I do not think there will be an election next year. I have a feeling the Insurrection Act will be invoked this weekend." Do you agree, John? Are we wasting our time? Will there be elections after all?
So will there be elections thing? I mean, you've said this many times, right, TJ, where there will be elections. Russia has elections. China has elections. Like there will be an election. Whether it is a fair and free election, that could be debatable. Whether he declares the Insurrection Act or not, if he declares it this weekend, I actually think that there's going to be an election. Like, I think that if he wanted to effectively do that, I would do it around the midterms. I would wait. I would keep that powder fucking dry. That is a thing we can bet on, by the way, if he's going to do the Insurrection Act this year. I would bet no. I don't think he's going to do that. I think that the people who are telling him to invoke the Insurrection Act, like that is a decision that Donald Trump isn't going to make on a whim. That's something that is going to be run through committee, and they will not allow him to do, because that is a very important strategic move that will not be done without forethought. Unlike, I don't know what tariffs are going to be on any random country. So like, I don't think he's going to invoke it this weekend. I think that the protests are going to go off without a fucking dilemma, just like they were last time. I'm not particularly worried about that. But in terms of will there be a fair and free election, I think there will. I haven't seen a level of competence from the Trump administration that they'd be able to effectively undermine the results of election. Do I think they might be able to put their finger on the scale? 100%. I just think that the margin of victory is going to be larger than a finger on the scale.
Have you seen that Dominion? Remember Dominion voting machines? They were attacked. That they were sold.
I did see they were sold. Yeah, no, I know what you're getting at here, TJ. And it's one of those things where I've put in the I'm going to worry about this later bucket.
All right, so a former GOP election official buys Dominion Voting Systems, says he'll push for paper ballots. Dominion Voting Systems, the election vendor that was falsely accused of rigging the 2020 election, is being sold and rebranded as Liberty Vote. That's actually my favorite part, that they named it Liberty Vote, because why the hell not, right? Effective immediately. Scott Linedecker, the founder of Missouri-based election technology company who previously served as the Republican director for the St. Louis City Board of Elections, purchased, imagine that guy. That guy's used to losing, a Republican in the St. Louis Board of Election. He must have got his ass kicked every single time. All right. Purchased the company this week for an undisclosed sum, according to a press release. As of today, Dominion is gone. Liberty Vote assumes full ownership and operational control, the press release leads. Now, I saw a lot of people talking about this and the hand wringing, saying, well, we know how Republicans are with this voting stuff. And if they get a hold of Dominion Voting Systems, which is used across the country in several different states and counties and stuff, how do we know that they're not going to try to fuck around with it? Which is a fair question. I don't blame you at all for thinking that. However, I do imagine that the election committees in these states, if they suspect that, okay, this guy's not going to be enough, they're going to be watching out for it. Like, we'll know long before the presidential elections of 2028. And also, if he stays true to his word and says, hey, I'm switching Dominion to just paper ballots, then okay, fine. Like, all right, if it's paper ballots, that actually makes it less likely they're going to cheat. So we'll see how it works. But yeah, I think that, and we might not have time. I actually have a few minutes left to go over the Supreme Court and their reviewing a gutting of the Civil Rights Act. I was actually, honestly, believe it or not, a little surprised to see that, because a couple of years ago, in the article you sent, I think they talked about it, a couple of years ago, Alabama tried to bypass the Civil Rights Act, and essentially they have like 5 districts and 2 of them majority black. They tried to create 1 majority black district and make the rest majority white. And it says, no, you're diluting these people's votes on purpose. You're taking away their political power. And the Supreme Court said, no, Alabama, you can't do that. Like the current Supreme Court, like full of conservatives, said, no, that's a violation of the Voting Rights Act. But now they're looking at it a little differently. I think it's in Louisiana, and saying, maybe we shouldn't look at race. Maybe we should get rid of the Voting Rights Act altogether, because the argument from what's his name? Gorsuch, not Gorsuch. Was it Gorsuch? Kavanaugh, from Kavanaugh, was saying that, well, race is used to weigh these districts and these voting blocks, but I don't think that race should be used in perpetuity. At some point, you can just, rely on the state to get it right, and maybe we should lift that provision from it. So they're going to rule on it pretty soon. I was kind of surprised to see that, because they have been pretty consistent with, so far, the Civil Rights Act, but we'll see what happens. I don't know. What did you think?
No, it was weird that, like, this one of the things where the thing, oh, we think the court is going to come down on this, and usually when you see headlines like that, they are correct. But like, yeah, I always say I don't weigh in on Supreme Court cases unless A, I know the subject matter very well, or B, it has already been decided on.
Yes.
Judgments, because I don't know enough about legalese to understand, to parse the tea leaves on what these guys are saying. So, like, yeah, it is a case that is being very much considered and is important and will have massive ramifications if they decide to strike this down. But I can't really tell you until it happens. Like that's kind of where I'm at with this, where I'm just like, I don't have a strong opinion because I don't know enough.
Yeah, I try to stay away from the what if news as much as I can too. And because this burns us all the time. This happened, Jesus Christ. I feel like this happened every other day when Trump wasn't president, where someone would come out with some conspiracy. All right, this is it. Trump's finally getting thrown in the slammer. This is it this time. He showed up to D.C. and had a meeting in golf shoes outside on the tarmac. Remember that? He was in his golf shoes. Something's going on here. Or they'd say, what's her name? The lady who was on The Apprentice with him. Black lady. I can't remember her name. It starts with an O. But
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and I want to say Osiris, but that's an Egyptian god. That's definitely not who I'm talking about here. But she or somebody else had mentioned that there's a tape out there with Donald Trump saying the N-word. And every time a scandal would come up, people say, oh, this is it. They finally found the tape. They finally found the tape of Trump saying the N-word. It never was, it was all made up. And also, it's funny thing.
I haven't found that tape yet. Like, actually kind of shocked that it doesn't exist.
And even if they did, it wouldn't matter. He would gain voters, right? Like, it wouldn't change anything. So
you're right. It wouldn't matter. I'm just surprised we don't have one.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. The what if news is a lot.
Yeah, we got 2 more real quick hitters I want to bet on here.
Oh, let's go.
So real quick, New York City mayoral election. What odds would you put Zohran Mamdani at?
Mamdani's got to be at 70% now, right? I mean, he's got to be. Like, there's just no one
higher than that. He's 87%.
87. Okay, wow. Yeah, he's got it. Yeah.
I want to bet on, because that feels like stealing money. As much as that is a low spread, he's going to be the mayor of New York City. Do you think there's any chance he loses?
I don't think there's any chance. No, I don't think there's any chance.
That's why I'd say I don't care that's like, I'm not going to win much on this. I'm going to bet $10 on him again to win $1. I'm winning that fucking dollar. That's free money. Free money for out there. As long as Zohran Mamdani doesn't die in the next month, we are winning that $1. And then lastly, one last one here. Epstein files. This is a very interesting one.
Oh, here we go.
Bet on who will be named in the Epstein files, right? the top market right now, you actually won't believe who the top 2 guys, or the top one you might, but the second guy you're not going to believe. Joe Biden being in the Epstein files. What do you think the chance?
Come on.
He's the highest chance that you can vote on right now.
He is the highest chance?
He's the highest chance.
37.
Yeah, you're kind of nailing this. He's at 34%.
I don't believe that. I only said that because he was the highest. Like, I don't believe for a second Joe Biden is in the Epstein files at all.
I would not bet on that because I feel like he could be. Like, Joe Biden has a creep history that I'm like, yeah, he could be in there. I wouldn't be shocked if he was. Barack Obama at number 2.
I would flip those. I would put Obama's way higher than Trump.
You put Obama higher? I put him lower.
I put him higher. I put him because everyone wanted to be around Obama. Like, the people who went to Epstein's Island, they all wanted to be cool. They all wanted to be with the best.
Obama wasn't cool until 2008. Like, the moment Obama became cool was like a year before Epstein became a convicted sex offender. Like,
that's right. Yeah, he'd be too young. Okay, that's a fair point. Epstein would have been in the Hooskow and everything. Yeah. For the first time. He was arrested for the first time in like 2008 or something. Yeah, you're right. So, okay.
I'm buying no on that.
100%. Yeah, that's a good, yeah.
And it's like, 70% odds, but it's just like, that's a 3-3, and it's by release. Will be named in the Epstein files released this year. So not only does he have to be named, but they have to be released this year. In fact, I will probably go in later when my wife can't see the live stream and bet more money on that.
I had the same thought. I'm gonna bet no on all of them. Also, does it specify what named the Epstein files means? Because if it says that President Obama directed the Attorney General to investigate Epstein in the Epstein files.
No, it says
he's in the
Barack Obama is named in any context, in any documents held by the federal government regarding Epstein and/or his crimes released before January 1st, 2026, and market resolves yes. So that is where you can get it, where maybe he's named in a file completely unrelated to being on the island or anything, but he was president at the time. Maybe he's named in the file. That could happen.
Yeah, that could easily happen.
Which is why, if it was just at all, ever, I wouldn't be buying this right now. I don't think these files are being released this year, so I'm very confident buying this. All right. Okay, so that is it. That is our political bets. I really don't care if these do well because I think we can make a lot of money.
It's kind of fun.
I'm going to become an addict.
I'm going to get...
I know this better than stocks, and I invest in stocks. So, like, fuck it,
I love it.
Anyway, any last closing words here, TJ?
Nope. Let's go ahead and put it to bed.
All right. Well, thank you very much for watching this very special episode of The Left Wing. This was the episode that everyone will look back to as the moment John became a gambling addict and lost his house. So make sure to bookmark this if you are one of our many haters. TJ, what do you have to say to the people before we wrap this up?
Well, I would like to say that today's episode is brought to you by gambling. It's only a problem if you're losing. Remember that, folks. Gambling, recent research has suggested that gambling provides lots of positive health benefits. Studies show that activities like gambling improves individual quality of life and has the potential to produce positive health benefits. These individual studies, folks who frequently gamble had higher reported levels of lower levels of depression and greater social support networking than their non-gambling peers. Gambling provides a social activity, but also involves using problem-solving skills, concentration, and memory. Start gambling now. We recommend it. It's great for you. Catch you guys later. It's like, John, I'm glad you had brought that up.